think we're live. Yay! Hello, Frowns. So I'm just assuming with all the construction going on outside that someone unplugged something very briefly. Internet died. But yeah, I think we're just going to keep going till we can't. So if I get disconnected again, expect me to attempt. Otherwise, I won't be able to, or the stream will be done. I don't know. Let's just keep going now that we have the internet again. Alright, let's see. And it's back. Alright. So I totally realized when I was giving the demonstration of the color wheel, I had it hidden behind my face. Not very useful, I'm sorry. Here, I'll just place it there for now. That way, you can see it. Not that it's super critical and useful right now, but there you go. All right, so yeah, bigger eye looks better. I think I'm gonna hide the lashes just for the moment, and I'm going to extend the eyelid to kind of wrap around with the eye. That's fine. All right. Just need to erase this. There we go. Kaboom. Let there be light. And eyelashes. Okay. I don't think it's the worst, but it is also the worst. Okay, I think I'll have them coming away from the center of the kind of sphere. I like how I've given them eyelashes, but never whiskers. No mouse is allowed to have whiskers in the MouseHunt universe. I don't know, maybe the color is bad too. suppose I don't hate that. Alright. So let's try and make the other one as full. I think wrapping it like that seems fine. Having that kind of eyelid gap works. Just gonna have that one closer because we're looking at it from below. It's still good to have just a hint there. Thanks, script dev. Much thanks. Alright. Just trying to think of the angle. I can pull up the spheres that I had actually to kind of get an idea of what direction they would be going in. So if I knock that down, I can at least kind of see the center point. Okay. So we can just pretend that it's coming from the center point for now. And that works, actually. These can kind of curl up just a bit more. Yeah. All right. That's some chunky spider mascara, spider leg. Okay, let me just thin it out a bit. Kind of clump it up at the same time. Just to kind of stylize it just a little more, I think. Need the I'm not sure how heavy to go with it, you know. I don't think I want to go too crazy heavy with it. Just kind of wanted to get some cute lashes on it. You know, they're not necessarily putting on a ton of makeup to go out into the wilds and adventure. Okay. Probably get rid of those spheres. Is that too much? Is that enough? Is that not enough? Some heavy eyelids, eyelashes, tubs. Gotta get some beauty YouTubers on here to comment. let's work with that a bit. I think we don't need to go so pure black, actually. I think we could actually get a little bit of the atmosphere on them. Would it be weird? Bit too dark or something. Yeah, I think so. They just, yeah, they don't necessarily suit. Is that crazy? No. Now she's a ginger. There we go. Very tank girl. So somewhere in between. Like, I feel like maybe they would get a bit of highlight, right? Yeah, it could be too thick. Could be going way too far with it. They do something crazy. Huh. Let's look at it with a critical eye. Now, it's just kind of chisel away, just kind of remove a little bit by little bit. Yeah, I think they're just too much. I just wanted something a little more subtle. I think the ones out here would be a bit dark. At least with the bedroll being behind. When we hit it with the light, that'll read a bit better, I think. We can address it when we get the light on the bedroll. Alright, well, I think we can sit with that for now, and I mean, if we really don't want it, we can remove. I think it's a little better width, but I think, yeah, it's not totally right. Not totally there. Could also even be just a subtle little thing like getting the reflections of it in there. Meh. I'm going to stop fiddling with that for now. There's so much more that I have to deal with this. And it's 4:30, so I want to be able to finish this today. Okay, so fun little thing we could do, nice and quick, would be to adding some glowing embers to the torch itself. So we have this very dark, kind of charred branch, but it might look neat to have kind of some of the embers on it glowing, and you can get some interesting patterns with glowing embers. Just like that. Now, in the case of such things, I think that rule of less is more definitely applies. So I want to be fairly selective, but just try it out in a few spots first to see what looks interesting and good. And then probably just want to really kick it up in a few small spots. I think because there's kind of the flame dancing on the surface in some of these spots, I'll just push a little more light onto them. So, I mean, yeah, this is all like charred and blackened, but no, I think that looks all right. And then the branch itself is, of course, not actually fully charred. It wouldn't make for a very great torch, probably, if that were the case. So I think we'll kind of hit it with a little more color. That's, of course, too much color. But of course we are quite close to that flame. As you know, it is on the surface of this, so it's going to be pretty good at picking up the light that it is producing. Very gnarled branch, apparently. Let's just get more color into it. It's on fire. It deserves it. some nice dark kind of shadows that it's casting on itself. Just kind of sooty. Okay, and we can leave it pretty dark down there just because we're going to hit it with the that hip light. That'll look nice. All right. Branch. Burning branch. Probably would be quite a bit more kind of blooming of color on top of all this, to be honest. Or just, you know, more like something like that, where it's just overpowering, like bright. And they're just big patches of like if that is a lighten layer or color dodge. Yeah, normal it is. That seems fine. All right, let's get the arm. Working our way, getting there. Okay, so that's the coat. This is the mouse, the shading on it. Create a new layer, and this will be the highlight. So we'll just start overboard. A nice iridescent arm. What was I using before? The lighten layer? Yeah, I think the lighten layer. Angle is casting a shadow. Pretty strong one. going to start to get into the occlusion shadow and something like an elbow joint or the edge of a sleeve. So they're directly overlapping each other, making the light have much difficulty getting in at them. These are still a little bit too intense though. Occlusion eraser, are you a good one? I forget if I updated the eraser with the proper occlusion brush I made. I want a hard edge around here. Okay. That arm is done and dusted, I guess. I got just a couple of angles that are just like really quite strongly lit on this branch. All right. I think that arm's fine. Now for other parts. So the tail. I actually like the tail getting a decent amount of light. Just because of where it is, it kind of has a neat glow to it. I'm going to knock it back further, of course, because it is decently far away, but then there's also this blue lamp, tip lamp thing, which might have a neat kind of effect with it. So we'll see what happens. seems alright for the tail. Alright, so for the torso, we would actually have pretty decent lighting on the neck here. And I think the rest of her would just kind of fade gently. Oh, Luna is awakened. The great Luna beast. Start with that, and let's just pull it back. Just basically anywhere that I think that torch light would not actually reach. So the collar is blocking quite a bit of it. And the jacket itself is also casting a shadow on it. Can get a little bit more light on the tail, or sorry, not the tail, the knee. This one specifically. It's a little closer, kind of shows how it's interacting with the jacket there. So we'll pull that back a bit there, smooth it out, and pull it back a bit more too. All right. And the toes. Now this foot is closer and more kind of angled to get hit by the torch, so give them a little more light on these toes than the other ones. Of course, we'll just start with too much. You pull it back. I suppose if the tail can get that much light, the toes could probably do the same. At least those ones. Okay. works for me. And these toes, very, very subtle version. I will probably hit that with some of the blue light, so don't need to worry about it too much. All right, I think the jacket could be next. Okay. So if we had that, we get a nice kind of rich brown. Granite brush. It's okay. I have a leather brush. That's probably the one I want. Okay, so that's very red. All right. See if we can make this work. All right, so I think I want to get more red. So orange. More deep red. Might be a bit too much. It's looking a little closer to what I was thinking. Okay. And then for the leather trim, eraser against that's not good. Put it on its own layer. I should just be doing this on a separate layer. Okay, it's starting to look a little bit leather-like. Giving it a save. Gonna take a 5-minute break. Get some water, etc. And then we'll come back and just work till it's done. We're pretty close. There's like a couple of things. The blue lights, the backpack bedroll. I just pulled a muscle in my neck. Cool. All right, well, I'm gonna get the water and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Oh, I'm dying. All right, see you in a second. Nope, not lunch break. On short break. Why did it change the color channel? Stupid Photoshop. Ugh. That one only. Okay, whatever. Worst. Hello. Hello. Alright, I've returned. Just wanted to stretch my legs a little bit before the final run. So I think be able to finish this up in the next half hour or so. Maybe not all total details are going to be resolved. For example, the background, I think, might not get all that in. Okay, I think we can get rid of those rings of light. Yeah. Okay, so backpack. You're going to be kind of leather rucksack type thing, so just give you some brown highlights. Go with a more kind of reddish brown for the straps here, instead of the kind of like coppery leather, I guess you could call it. I don't know. Should be able to just use the eraser to get the shadows I want, because of how I set up the ambient occlusion. Working on the wrong layer. Well. Okay. I think the shoulder leather here could go a little bit just more kind of darker in some spots, because it's kind of like a shiny leather we got going on. So. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's just kind of jump around onto what needs our attention. I think the rucksack needs to be addressed a bit more. Just get another layer for the highlights instead of messing it up like I just did for the other bits. Alright, so for this I'm going to allow it to be a little more subtle because it's kind of background stuff. So right up here, I think it's okay that it's kind of punchier. It's, you know, really close to the lantern, or the torch. But I'll probably knock it back further than that. And it's just kind of the same thing. I don't know what those shapes are that I want. Just various pouches. Okay, we'll just knock that back significantly. Even this part up here. Smooth that out. I think actually, if we're going to have this kind of atmosphere, I want that atmosphere to play over top. So use my gentle brush. Just kind of have that, right? It's like the actual kind of air around it. It's almost foggy. Yeah, I think that works. Now that's kind of pushed back a bit. So the shadows are kind of knocked out before other things. So luminosity kind of works. Divide just looks neat, but definitely isn't what we want. Pushing it back is worse. Pin light, too colorful, but not bad. Linear light is a bit too intense. Hard light's not bad. Soft light, I barely even notice it. Overlay is a pretty good one, usually. But I do lose kind of knocking out the darks a bit. Whereas something like lighter colors looking good, that's just too much. Definitely too much. Screen is actually pretty good. So it's really knocking the shadows out pretty effectively. Lightening's good too. And honestly, normal is maybe ideal. So I was hoping to just kind of lighten it so the darks stay. That's pretty similar to lighten. Screen builds on the lights that already exist. Lighter color kind of works for that though. So. But it definitely punches up all the lit areas already. Maybe it's not a bad thing. Stop. Please. Ugh, I hate when that happens. There we go. Every once in a while, like, a hotkey is just stuck down. And it's like not like the cats are on a mouse button or anything, because this happens at my work computer all the time. But yeah, I just have to, like, anytime I hit E to go to my eraser, it's just like, oh, you wanted to open up the editing window, eh? It's just very persistent. Okay, so I like how that's all kind of atmosphered out. That looks nice. And it's definitely good on top of that colored layer. So we'll go back to this layer really quick, and let's get the bedroll punched up a bit. So we're adding our yellow, our warmth to it. So should we go into the greens? Does that kind of give the impression that the torch is influencing the light? Or is that just too different a color? I feel like that might be. It's a nice color, but maybe it's just, it just kind of stands out, right? Whereas that kind of muted back bedroll definitely just a hint of it kind of coming forward is maybe the way to go. I don't know, maybe it actually loses some saturation. It's at least asking for less attention than the green was. So that contrast is pretty strong with it, right? I think that's probably good. It's subtle enough. Okay, so one thing we didn't really fully resolve was, is this the color we want? Right? For this kind of elixir. It's pretty nice. I think it looks great. But let's just try. New. Layer. Adjustment layer. There we go. Hue and saturation, I suppose. Sure. So if we did do kind of a colorize, I guess. I don't know. I think that looks good. That works. We don't need to like force this to change from something that I think is pretty cool just for the sake of a character, you know. So I think we'll keep this kind of color scheme. I'm happy with that. And let's just toy with changing this. Where are you? Wow, why are you not? There we go. So if we made this that kind of amber golden color of the elixir, it might be okay. Definitely makes the bedroll want to remain blue if we go with that. Need to kind of try and balance that. But the more golden kind of works. Yeah, like the blue does kind of like balance it stronger. So yeah, I don't know if it's necessary to try and make the elixir work with this character. If anything, what would happen if I just grabbed it? I was just like, oh yeah, it was just sitting in the bag, you know. Just plop it on there. Just kind of looks a bit ridiculous. The angle is very bad for this. Very bad. Let's try anyways. Yeah, I'm thinking the blue is actually pretty nice, but yeah, like it just kind of defeats the idea of showing this on the character if it's that blue, right? Boom. Okay. erase that edge. Just work with it poking out like that. And kind of. You just need to grade it way different. It's a lot of light that's coming across through it, and that would not work for me. So let's overall kind of just really knock it down. Oh, how do I erase that? Alright, well, I'll just go with it. I'll just paint right over that. That's fine. It's one of the things with this tablet. Just kind of thinks you hit the stylus against it in some kind of random places sometimes. So it's a little bit annoying to deal with, but isn't being too bad. So yeah, I need to knock that down a lot, fit that in the scene. But I don't know, like I actually think that that isn't a bad idea to like actually show it. I think that that's kind of useful. You're just like, what is that? Yeah, so I think I just need to push this down a lot. It's just a lot right now. It's too intense. Too bright. Okay, so now that we knocked the edges back a bit, now we can kind of bring it back a bit. So I don't think I'll stick with that white kind of light coming through. I think I'll let that go down to the yellow. So it's still producing a lot of brightness, but it's not as intense. I mean, it's kind of contending with pure fire right there, so I want there to be a little more hierarchy between the two. Okay. Ah, it's doing that thing. There we go. Yeah, there's so many like little changes that were made to Photoshop when it switched to the CC 2019. Like a bunch of hotkeys were tweaked, and they're just so frustrating. If you were hanging out, like, I guess it was what, 3 weeks ago? Last time I streamed anyway, I was like fighting with the hotkeys at one point and tried to like figure out how to disable one of them, and I still haven't been able to figure out where it's hiding. There's a little key combination of like Alt and then like the brush size button that I normally use. See that? It changes the layer. So like if I'm selecting a color and I'm thinking about changing my brush size at the same time, I can end up putting myself on the wrong layer and end up painting there for a while, and just not a good thing. Not a good thing to have happen. Okay, so I'm gonna get some of this images. So why not? And then what'll be nice is we can start hitting stuff with the rim lights, and that's really going to change a lot. But yeah, I like this being like redder and kind of less intense. And I think when we kind of tone a lot of stuff around, like key it to those kind of warms, this will kind of sit a little more comfortably in that space, because right now it just kind of stands out a little bit too much. Might even get a little bit of the ambient kind of sky reflecting onto it. So we got this kind of like purpley blue gray. Let's try that. I'll try a lighten layer for that at least. There we go. It feels a little more kind of glass in this atmosphere. I'll just erase away a bit of that. Okay. All right, let's start to get some more of this bounce, rim light, etc. I think that'll really pull things together. So, where do I start? I'll start with this blue. And actually the strap that it has is not quite keyed to the light very well. So grab that. Yeah, there's a fold here because there used to be a pouch in the sketch right there. That's gone. Oops. Just kind of a simple trimmed cloak now. So we'll also be casting a shadow. Let's just get that right here. I don't know, it's a bit steep. It seems fine. Same with that and that. Need to paint in some of the shadows apparently. These need to be quite a bit darker. Or perhaps the eraser is just a little bit too gentle. Whoa, cats, please. Holy crap. Cancel. What did you just do? Fuck. Get. Ugh. Alright, let's see what kind of damage they dealt. Don't think. Can't really tell. It's the issue with cats that just lay across your keyboard. I think we're good. Can't tell if anything was changed too dramatically. Yeah. Her nose doesn't have a highlight on it. Might be good. Sorry. It was a bit of a reaction. Probably didn't need to get too aggro. Oh, alright. Don't know why I did that. probably paint on the correct layer for this. Our cats eradicate mice. Nope. Although I guess this is one way to do it. Just destroying the art. Make them never exist at all. I think I might actually punch the highlight up a little bit more on this huge chin. Because it's so close to the light source. Blast the color out. Just considering like how much light is kind of blasted onto the knuckles right beside the torch, I feel like it might be good to have the face get a little bit more of that. I should probably get more color at the edge of that kind of bright area though. Just trying to be really kind of subtle with it. I want to make it look like she's just eating a bowl of SpaghettiOs very messily. Just if there's a little bit of kind of color fall off. I don't know, maybe the ambient kind of lighting on the face could be a little stronger. It's so high up, it might actually look nice to kind of make that a little more apparent. So I will lighten this more here. Sorry, my phone. Turn that down. There we go. Alright. And it's just a little subtle difference, but I think that is nice. bit more on the arm there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now let's get some rim light going, even though I said I was doing that already. So this is going to be a very kind of orange, warm glow, but pretty soft. Again, it's one of those things where you can, since you're working in layers, you can just put more than you need to and just kind of pull it back until it's good. Just erase it where it's close to the satchel. The actual fingers here are going to get probably the best out of it. They're pretty warm, pretty close. Although the jacket, and the backpack, or the satchel are going to pick up on those warms pretty well too. I think I'll just get the tiniest amount on the edge of the ear here. Just using it as kind of that rim light to just kind of carve out features that may not show up too dramatically. In reality, it's just nice to help bring out the detail. All right, where's that earring? Oh, let's get this pretty. There we go. Nice and strong there. That's good. Get it over here. Cool, cool. Thanks, Ashley. Actually, yeah, I feel like we could, if we want, get just the smallest hint of this in the corner of their eye. So probably wouldn't actually catch this, but why not? Just a hint. All right. So this satchel back here is very muted, which is fine and dandy. But since that's there, we're just going to influence the color quite a bit. So they almost kind of blend together a bit more. Is that bad? Probably. I'll do a new layer just so I can mess with this more. Okay. Do a lighten layer. Nope. Do a screen. Screen kind of works, although probably just stick to normal. A little more specifically the color of it, right? Okay. I'll knock that down a bit more. All right, I think that's okay. Where else? The jacket. all right. Just enough. Just enough. The sword will definitely get a nice amount of it, but it won't be as bright as the torchlight, which is good. I think the straps can use a bit too, just kind of the very edge of them. Yeah. Same with this one. Maybe the glove even has a little bit of that because it's a polished enough leather to pick it up as a light, reflect it. Just knock that back a lot. Right. Cool, cool, cool. That works. All right. Yeah. Okay, so the sword. Let's just get a little bit of this on it. Gonna have to end the stream pretty soon. Too much contrast. Drawing too much attention to this. Alright, and then the handle. There you are. Just get a little touch of that color. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't want. All right. I think just quickly getting a punch of that blue on the coat, and a couple other areas, and I'll just wrap it up with that. Leather brush. Definitely need to erase away a lot of that. Just want a little bit of reflection. Okay. Can get a little bit of it on the toes. Okay. Trim of the jacket here. Okay. And elbow. Okay, well, I think that that's as far as we're going to take it today. Obviously, I didn't get to deal with the background, but you'll just have to wait and see what that looks like in game. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with where this got to. Definitely more to do on it, but it's pretty close. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out and being a part of the stream. I'll post on my art page the actual kind of work that we did today, so you can kind of like, you know, comment on it or whatnot, and share it or all that goodness. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Let's see, is that still the Larry link? Nope. Let's see, grab the Larry link in case anyone missed it. Copy. Nothing too crazy, but there you go. All right, well, have a good weekend, everybody. Happy hunting, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye-bye.